Hey everyone, welcome to the Dare to Care podcast. My name's Ty Farnsworth. I'm the worship coordinator here at Inspire Family Fellowship, joined today by Amy Lengang, as well as our special guest, the Q, Linda Kunick. Linda, we've been having so much fun for about 10 minutes before we actually started recording this. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I think people watching or maybe even listening can recognize you and have seen you around the church. You've been here since the beginning.
Oh, heavens, no.
No? For me, it feels like that, but
well, that's because she's everywhere.
No.
We have her involved in so many areas.
I've been coming here probably 3 years.
Okay.
So before that, I was looking for a church.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So I grew up in Bismarck, was born here, raised here, and from a family of 7 girls.
That's a lot.
And we grew up in a house that had 825 square feet. And it was great. Mm-hmm. A lot of hair pulling, fights going on, as you get older, because there's not a lot of room.
Yeah.
But it was good.
Where does your faith journey begin? Did you go to church as a kid, or?
Oh yes, we were raised Catholic.
Okay.
I mean, both my mom and my dad are from big Catholic families. So we were raised Catholic, and I went to Catholic school. I went to Cathedral. I graduated from St. Mary's High School. And, all 12 years at school. So I went to church. We went to church every Sunday. And the Catholic Church, they refer to them as holy days of obligation. And then when I was in elementary school, because we carpooled with neighbors, went to Mass probably every day before school started, mm-hmm. because Mass was at 8 o'clock. And we were there by that time to get a ride. Otherwise, we walked. So went to church a lot and raised my kids Catholic, and they went through all of the sacraments through confirmation, mm-hmm. in the church. And my oldest son was married in the Catholic Church. My daughter got married in a park, barefooted, and my younger son got married during COVID, so he got married on a beach down in Florida because awesome. They were able to travel a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you go from Catholic upbringing, raising your kids Catholic, mm-hmm. to
here we are
being at a Lutheran church for, like you said, only 3 years. To me, you must maximize your time here, because I feel like as long as I've been at Inspire, you've been here. How did you end up here?
Well, after my mom and my dad both passed away, there were years after the kids were gone from home that we kind of didn't go as regularly to church. We just got to the feeling with the Catholic Church that there were so many man-made rules that both my husband and I struggled with. And then as things got more serious with making a change, we started looking, and I started trying out some different churches because I needed to find a church after a time of not going. I need a group and I need a community, and I just do better that way. Mm-hmm. And one of my very best friends, and she's also my cousin, is Kathy Schneider.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And
Kathy and Mike have been here, and she invited me several times, come and try Inspire, because she knew that I was looking for mm-hmm. a church, that we were looking for a church. So we did, and I absolutely loved it the first time. I have known the Pesky family. I worked side by side with Bob Pesky's wife, Pam, at Bismarck High School for about 18 years. Mm-hmm. So we were really good friends. So I knew the music was here, and I love good music. Mm-hmm. And so the first time I came, the message from Pastor Randy, and my husband came with me, and he's always a little bit more reserved. But one of the first people you meet is Ernie, and everybody was they make you feel seen and so welcoming. And I remember leaving, and my husband said to me, "There's no way that many people were happy to see us." He's like, that's really different. I said, I kind of think that's how it is. I think they were being sincere. And so I just kept coming back, and I loved it. And so then, when they had the first, do you want to join? I'm like, yes, I want to join. because I do need a group, I need a community. That's how I thrive.
Well,
Sure.
I think you've done such a great job of just diving in from the minute you made that choice. I mean, some of the things, you're going to have to help me out here, but we've got you helping out with the food pantry. So you're here multiple times a week. You're coming to women's Bible study every Wednesday. I mean, you're on our greeters team.
Right.
You are, anytime we need something, you are just ready to go.
Well, I'm retired.
Volunteer teams,
Yeah.
and just everything.
Yeah, and I'm a people person. I like to have people around me and get to know the people I do things with. I worked in the school system for 24 years. 18 years was at Bismarck High School. So I was involved, as my kids were there, with parent advisory. And then after they all graduated, there was just some big projects there that the parent advisory committee had started. So I just continued to help. You know, we started a concession stand when they built the new gym. So, you know, I helped with that. And I was one of the initial people that started the first after prom party, because when my oldest son was going to prom and Bismarck High didn't have anything like that, I'm like, wow, we need to. So we started it and planned it, and I stayed on that. And just being involved, and my kids were in sports and academics and all of that. So I just like to be involved. And then when I retired, I started volunteering in the community with Ministry on the Margins. Sister Kathleen, that founder, was my classmate for 12 years. So, you know, I said, well, when I'm not working my job anymore, I'm going to come in and help here. And then I did some stuff at the soup kitchen, and I volunteered some at the Ronald McDonald House. And back at the school still, there's certain projects that I like to help with. So when there's things that need to be done,
You're not afraid to dive
You don't sound like
in.
you're retired.
I'm retired because I can choose to do the things. And if I'm going to be gone for a week or 3 months, I can go and do
Sure.
that.
Well, that's the other thing, too. You travel so much, and you're heading all over the place to see grandkids and your own kids who have moved away now, and that's pretty special.
Right. We do travel a bit, and it's good because I do have two children. I'm lucky to have my youngest son in town, but my oldest one is in Wisconsin with his family. My daughter is in Denver with her husband, and they don't have any children, but I got 3 granddogs that are big as horses, you know. So we like to spend time with them. Plus, you know, I've done a little further traveling, and it's fun. There's places to go and things to see.
Amen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
One thing you said that stood out to me is you just mentioned this place is a little different. That was the first thing that stood out to you. And just,
Yeah.
I think, I might be wrong.
Is
What
that
is
the
it?
shirt
I was
you're
going to say,
wearing
what
today?
does it say on my back?
It's personal.
Oh, it's the wrong one.
Oh,
Okay.
my God, yeah.
We do have a
That one
T-shirt that
says-
says, "Get used to different." And for whatever reason, I was thinking it was this one. So, anyways,
No. So coming here to Inspire, the message is so good. People make you feel welcome, but I get something from every aspect, like joining the women's group, just learning so much more just about the Bible, and then the book studies that go on usually is fall through the winter and spring. You know, it's always good to be able to talk about things with people. But one of the things that I learned coming out of the Catholic Church and into the Lutheran Church is the Bible. For all those years of going to Catholic school and all those years of going to church, we had the Sunday gospel, but very, very little Bible teaching, Bible learning about Jesus. When my kids were young, somebody brought me to a non-denominational women's group called Christian Women's Club. And they met mornings. There was a chapter that met at lunch, and then there was an after 5 chapter, and it was non-denominational. I think Stonecroft Ministries might have been the organization, but I went to that, and I started doing some Bible studies there and met some people, and I just learned so much more about Jesus, about forgiveness, about love, you know. But then my kids were little, and then we got just real busy into the raising of the family, so I didn't have time to continue that. But once I got into Inspire and went to one of the First Ladies' Nights, the group of us that ended up at the same table decided, well, one of them, and her name is Cindy, said, I really feel called to lead a Bible study. And everybody at that table said, we'd love that. We're interested. And so we're still meeting today, and that's just one of my favorite groups of people. And I think they're all from Inspire.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can I ask, and if you don't want to talk about this, we don't have to keep it in the podcast. What is it like for your kids seeing you guys leave the Catholic Church? Is that a point of contention for you guys? Or how do you guys explain your membership at Inspire to your kids, having raised them Catholic?
Well, that's an interesting question because not any of our 3 children are practicing Catholics.
Sure.
Okay.
My oldest son got married in the Catholic Church. His wife converted. But then they just decided, kind of for the same reason we did, there were just too many man-made things that they had issues with. So they don't. My daughter is not a practicing Catholic. And my youngest, he and his wife are very involved in their church, and they belong to Evangel here in Bismarck, and they love their church.
Sure.
And they have their small group. I mean, for them it's year round every week. Tim and Sarah with couples, and actually Tim and the 2 older boys who are grade 7 and grade 8, actually for Tim it was a rebaptism. For Beckham and Judah, they were baptized all together just a couple months ago. It was really, really special and very cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's interesting, your story, because as of us recording this and it going out, this Sunday we're doing our Catholic Connections class.
We are.
I know, and we're going to be in Wisconsin.
Oh,
Of
shoot.
course.
I know. I saw that, and I was like, oh, I'm so sad, because Al and I were just talking about that last Sunday after church. And I said, it would just be so interesting to be there to hear other people's thoughts. And I know that I see so many people here that I've known, from the prior to the churches, that we belong to, or knew that they were Catholic in their upbringing and stuff. But it's just about finding the fit. And I still have, lots of relatives that are Catholic. And one of my cousin's sons is in seminary now, and he's going to become a priest, and all good people.
Yeah.
But it wasn't filling the need in my life. But I really feel like I get that here at Inspire.
Sure.
It's just the way the Bible is taught, the love of Jesus, the forgiveness of Jesus, and the humanity that everybody has.
Yep.
And
Randy has such a nice job of making it personal. We'll bring your shirt into it.
Yeah.
But he really brings it to your own life and how to apply things. And he brings in the history of it and, up to the present. And I appreciate that when I listen to his sermons.
The history of it especially, because I've had people ask me deep questions. And I'm okay with saying, I don't know enough to try to answer that, to feel like I'm giving a good answer. But so I'm just coming up with, in my own, then why do you believe what you believe? With my own little short testimony that I know to be true.
Sure.
Without trying to delve deeply into things that I don't. I'm the first one to say, I don't know enough to know, to say I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that was the first thing that attracted me. I started, following Randy when I was 15 back at Charity, and I came from a church that maybe you knew why you believed what you believed, but it was a 10-minute sermon on what the pastor did that week. Whereas with Randy, it was, 45 minutes of, let's take a part of the Bible, let's understand what the context is behind it, let's understand why we believe what we believe, why our traditions have come out of it, that sort of thing. And I think, bridging the gap between the traditions that you grew up in with Catholicism, understanding kind of where those things come into play, Randy does a really, really great job of teaching us why we believe what we believe.
He really does. And, my parents were both really strong Catholics. And my mom, I think she was so influential for me because she really prayed. I mean, she really prayed a lot. You got 7 daughters, and my parents were not, they both grew up on farms, so they weren't, they didn't have any, even high school educations, neither one of them, but they were hard workers, and they taught us the value of hard work and being honest. But my mom prayed a lot, and we would see that growing up. As Catholics, you pray the rosary, and I think sometimes we would kneel, all 7 of us girls in a row, in front of the picture of Jesus and Mary on the wall, and pray the rosary. And I'm pretty sure my mom did it because she could get 7 kids to not be running around making a bunch of noise for like 20 minutes. Now, and I look back at that, I'm like, I know exactly why. She needed to pray, but she needed quiet. So we all had to kneel. We had to kneel on the floor in the living room and pray the rosary. But, those are great memories. But even, as she got older, and she, she loved the church. She loved her church. And so we would go to church with her, and we were involved. We helped at Corpus Christi as well, the last church we believe that we belonged to, and really enjoyed it. But even when she was sick, because she got cancer, but at the very end, we would just pray with her, and she would pray the rosary. And her very last day, she was in bed, and she really wasn't talking or anything anymore. But all of us were there, and we were just praying the rosary around her when she took her last breath. And it's a beautiful, beautiful memory that we all have.
Absolutely.
So learning to pray is something that I, learned that from my mom. And now my prayer is quite different. I don't use the rosary or the beads, but I talk to Jesus a lot, and say, like today.
Before the podcast.
Before the podcast, yes. Or when I'm looking for something and I find it, I'm just like, thank you, Jesus. And, help me do this, get me here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Fun fact, you told us before the podcast started, you have listened to every single Dare to Care podcast.
Every one of them. And usually on the Thursday they come out.
Ooh.
She's on it. Look at that.
Because I find it interesting.
That's what I was just going to ask. What keeps bringing you back week after week?
Just because and I've always listened to them. Like I said, I've never watched them. I know that you can watch them on YouTube, but I do so little on YouTube. There's so many things I need to learn yet, but I've got time, So I just listen to them, and then I'm like, who is that person? And then I try to find their picture in the directory, and they're not in the directory. But just listening to people's stories, and some people that I know from here, and just hearing more of their story, friends and stuff. Very interesting.
Well,
Awesome.
That's kind of why we started this, was to get people to know each other through the church and little stories that surround this place.
Absolutely.
And we're honored to have you a part of it, as invested a learner as you are, and having people hopefully follow your podcast as you have followed other people's.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So looking back at your faith journey and how you've kind of, changed different views along the way, what are some maybe tips and tidbits you have for some of our next gen kids here at Inspire? What words of advice would you give to them as they're traveling their faith journey?
I tell my grandkids, and we're in the teen years, that just trust yourself and make good choices, that you feel in your heart that are right. And then as they age to like young adults that are busy with families, and it's been a while, but I was there, just to know that you don't have to do everything perfect, and there's going to be time for life to happen. And then you're going to get to the point where you're going to look back and enjoy it. And for more older people like around my age, I think it's just to live every day, to be kind, and always look forward to doing and learning something new. Working for the school system for a long time, with the kids first and then with all the families and stuff, one of the things that I learned from some of very wise teachers and administrators is that everybody just develops in their own time, and they learn, and they're going to grow. But you just have to treat every person with dignity and respect, and just be kind, because I don't know if it was Mother Teresa or Maya Angelou. I'm not sure who said it, but somebody said, people aren't going to remember everything you did, but they will remember how you made them feel. And that's the feeling that I get when I come into the church, when I come for Sunday service, from the greeters, from the people serving a coffee or cookies, or, and to the people going out, is that people see you and they're there for you if you need.
And it's genuine.
Something. And it's exactly.
I know what you had mentioned earlier. Were they really that happy to see us? We are. We really are. I think Sundays, they bring a lot of energy to us as staff and our volunteers, too. We're excited to have people in the doors.
Yeah.
It's pretty quiet around here when it's the middle of the week, as you can tell.
Yeah.
But we love having people around.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm very proud about this church is very rarely, even with the greeters, are they putting on a face for people.
Yep.
It's a genuineness that doesn't always exist in churches, which
That's
is really
what I
nice.
was going to say, because when Al and I are greeters, I mean, we really are happy to see people.
Yeah.
And as now through a few years, I've gotten to know more people, and you see them coming, and we are really happy that they're to see them.
Yeah, and it's such a great way, especially when you just start coming to Inspire. A really, easy way too to get involved and to dive in is just join the welcome team and get to know some faces and some names, and
Right.
it helps you feel more at home.
Linda, thank you so much for joining us today and for being on the podcast.
Yes,
and
thank you.
appreciate your story, and thank you for sharing it and sharing your experience. You're not alone in the Catholic to Inspire
goodness, no.
jump.
No.
And so for those of you that are listening and are either Catholic going to Inspire, Catholic not going to Inspire, or just interested, we do have a Catholic Connections class on Sunday, just talking about kind of bridging the gap between the Catholic background and where we're at as a Lutheran church here at Inspire. So you're more than welcome to join us after the second service on Sunday.
Yeah, if you could head to our website and sign up, that way we have enough food.
That would be very helpful.
That'd be awesome. But all are welcome.
Lunch is being served.
And
but,
childcare provided too.
yeah.
So
But I think the biggest thing that I've learned since making this church change, I guess the word is, that Jesus is the same. The same Lord loves us, forgives us.
Well,
Ty, will you close us
Yes,
out in a
absolutely.
little prayer?
if you would bow your heads if you're driving, please don't do that. That might end up really poorly. But Father in heaven, thank you so much for Linda and for everything that she and Al do here at Inspire. Continue to bless them and bless their families. With all of them, with the backgrounds that they have, just continue to show your presence in their lives. Continue to guide them and bring them closer to you in everything that they do. It's in your mighty name that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
If you have any questions or comments that you want directed at us post-podcast, feel free to direct those at amy@inspirefamily.org. We mentioned the Catholic Connections class. We have plenty of other events coming up you can check out on our website, inspirefamily.org. Otherwise, feel free to join us in person any Sunday that you're able, 9:15 and 10:45. Our address is 523 North 21st Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. Otherwise, we'll see you next Thursday.
See you.
Bye.